Hey guys, as you know, this week we have been talking about quadrilaterals, shapes that have what? Shapes that have four sides. Today I wanted to talk about two properties that help us to describe different types of quadrilaterals. So the first property that I'm going to talk about is called parallel lines. If you were paying close attention to the video yesterday from Khan Academy, you would have heard them use the term parallel lines. And they talked about how parallel lines are lines that if they went on forever and ever, they would never meet. So I actually wore my striped shirt because my stripes are parallel lines. If they went on forever and ever and ever, see how if I go like this, they would never meet, okay? So to help us discover some parallel lines, I actually got out a yellow envelope that I found in one of my drawers. And I'm gonna put that yellow envelope onto my whiteboard. And then I'm gonna trace some of the lines. Okay, now keep in mind, these will be imperfect. So, there we go. These two lines are parallel because if they went on forever and ever and ever, like this, they would never meet, okay? Now I'm gonna erase that and I'm gonna draw some lines that are not parallel, okay? So let's take a look at these two lines that I'm gonna draw. I have a line here and I have a line here. Now right now these two lines are not meeting, but if they went on forever and ever and ever, eventually they would meet. So that means that these lines are not parallel. I'm gonna erase that and I'm gonna get my envelope back out again so I can draw some parallel lines. Okay, there are my parallel lines. And then I'm gonna write down a definition. If they went on forever, they would still never meet. Okay, so there are my two parallel lines and my definition. I'm going to show this on the board for just a second so that you can copy it in your notebook if you want. Parallel lines, if they went on forever, they would still never meet. And the nice thing, if you're copying this in your notebook, I'll keep this up for a second so you can see, is that if you are copying this into your notebook, the lines in your notebook, those blue lines that go across the page, those are parallel lines, right? Because if these lines on your notebook went on forever and ever, they would still never meet. But this pink line is not parallel with the other ones because it's crossing it. Just these blue lines are our parallel lines. Sound good? Okay, so the other property that I want to talk about today that some quadrilaterals will have are right angles. Now, in our Montessori classroom, we have a special tool that helps us to locate right angles. It's a yellow piece of wood, but I don't have it at home, so that's why I picked this yellow envelope. And there's an orange or red space at the bottom that looks like this. And this is a great way to test for right angles. So I got out a few things to test. One of the things I got out was a book from our library at school. And if I take this envelope and I put this up against the edge, it lines up perfectly. See that? Okay. So that's a right angle. Another thing that you might hear a right angle called is a 90-degree angle, okay? So I'm going to trace the right angle onto our whiteboard like this, okay? And then I'm going to show you that there's a little symbol we can actually use when we're drawing to show that it's a right angle. See what I did there? That's a way that mathematicians can indicate that that's a right angle. And then if you remember, the other thing I said it could be called was a 90-degree angle. Here's how I write that. 90 degrees. This is my 90-degree angle. Okay. So what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to go to a few objects around my house. I'm going to try to bring the camera with me. And we're going to go on a hunt for some parallel lines and some right angles. Okay. Now, my dining room is a really great place to do this because we have these wooden lines in my house along the side of the wall, okay? And if you were to look from my house and not from where you guys are, you would see that those lines are actually parallel. If they went on forever and ever, they would never meet. And then if I take my sort of right angle tester here and I hold it up to this corner and I put it right there, sure enough, it fits perfectly. So that is a right angle. Pretty cool, huh? Now, I also have some cool designs on the rug in my dining room. And if you look, there are some parallel lines. This line here and this line here on my rug are actually parallel because if they went on forever and ever, they would never meet. But then, if I take my right angle tester and I come to where these two lines are meeting, this is fun, I'm like upside down trying to figure out how to hold the camera. Are you guys getting seasick? If I take my right angle tester and I put it right up on the end of this square, I can see that where those pieces of my rug meet, it makes a right angle. So, in our next video, we're going to take a look at some, there's terrible glare there. In our next video, we're going to take a look at a couple of different quadrilaterals, and we're going to see if they have right angles or not, and if they have parallel lines or not. So we'll see you back here in a few minutes.